There we
Worldwide.
go.
Right.
There we go.
W5KQ.
The little pencil lid, I guess, right?
Well,
or that was the foxhole one.
That was the foxhole
Yeah.
one.
All right, well, we're back. And hey, welcome, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Morristown Hamfest. Wish we could be there. But man, it's about 500 miles for us, and that was just too far to come this weekend.
A couple thousand for me, I think.
Hey, you guys have seen Katie and I and some of the others. We had a little technical difficulties this morning, but hey, at least maybe we interacted with you a little bit. We're human beings, and we're gonna make it through this thing, even though we got some problems here. Katie, you had to get up awful early this morning to be on. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing finer than frog's hair this morning, Tom, other than having a little cold, so I apologize for my deep-throated, nasally voice this morning, folks, but got up early, had lots of coffee, and was looking forward to today, so I'm glad to be here, and thanks for having us, everybody, this morning. This is a lot of fun. This is our first time doing a live ham fest like this, so you guys are our guinea pigs, so there you go.
All right, very good. Hey, I just looking at the chat room, not to interrupt here, but tell you that KF43
KF43 GS.
Who's KF43 GSR? I don't know who that is.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Oh, KF4GSR.
Yeah, I don't know who it is. Okay.
Maybe somebody in the group knows out there.
Well, I'm gonna.
Kilo Fox 4 Golf Sugar Radio.
That's one of our club members, Kate.
Oh, okay. Great.
All right, very good. We got some club members tuned in. Okay, well, guys, hey, welcome to the forum today. This is we're going to talk a little about our show, Amateur Radio Roundtable, and but it's going to be more about just ham radio. We're going to talk first a little about the show and what got us started and what we've been doing and some interesting things about it. And toward the end of the show, we're going to get Hambot to pick, or Hambot is going to actually award a watt meter to somebody in that room there. And that's going to be kind of cool. And we're going to take questions kind of toward the last half or so of the show. We'll take your questions and we'll try to answer them. And we're going to talk about ham radio, just all aspects of it, whatever you want to talk about today. So first, what I wanted to do, though, is just give you a quick overview of our show. I can go to field day and talk with people, and even though our show is being watched in maybe 150 countries, and we've got thousands of people all over the world watching, I can go to a local hamfest here in Memphis and ask people if they know about the show, and only 2 out of 10 know of it. So we're trying to get the word out and help us promote the show. If you got any interesting topics or would like to be on the show, contact us. Hopefully everybody got a card today about the show with information on it. So I'm going to quickly just go into a little presentation. It's going to last about 7 or 8 minutes. Get that out of the way, and then we'll talk about whatever you want to. And if you guys can't come up with anything, Katie and I will think of some questions. Okay. So let me see if I can jump into the to our presentation here. So our show, Amateur Radio Roundtable, our theme is bringing ham radio to you, and that's exactly what we try to do. We got some great co-hosts on here. Of course, Katie Allen there, Dave Kessler, Martin F. Jew from the founder of MFJ, and we have Riley Hollingsworth there, the special counsel to the FCC, retired now, but he answers our FCC questions on our show. We also added Josh on here. Josh, he goes by Hasnazi, I think, on the
Ashnasi.
yeah,
Ashnasi.
on his social media. He's got a great YouTube channel too. So let's talk a little about the show real quick. So history, we started broadcasting or webcasting about 17 years ago, 18 years ago on the internet. It wasn't very good back then. The internet was very slow back then, and we were one of the very first to start webcasting. And I think we're one of the first ham radio shows to have a live weekly ham radio show. And we were really first to simulcast using both the web and shortwave. We're on shortwave station, 5130 kilohertz every Tuesday night. And in addition to going to all these hamfests, we make it about you, and we give out a lot of prizes every year to our viewers. And why do we do it? We do it just to promote ham radio globally, make sure that everybody, there's so many people out there that are either too young to travel, or they don't have the money, or they're sick, or they can't get off work. So this allows them to, attend Hamfest with us and be a part of that experience. We started off about 17, 18 years ago with the helmet cam. Now, this was of course, this was not our invention, but not many people were doing helmet cam back then. And this was on the internet, and it was pretty bad back then. We would turn our head too fast, and everybody's getting dizzy. The internet connections were slow, and everybody was getting sick. So we eventually got away from the helmet cam and went to mainly tripod fixed cameras. Now, we did have several people back in the early days, come and interview for the job of helmet cam operator. And some of you guys may recognize this guy here, but he didn't make the cut. He just didn't make it. I understand that later on, several years later, he did take a job on another ham radio network. Hey, things were very crude back then. Here we were outside. We've been going to Dayton Ham Convention now for about 35 years, and we were always outside. And let me tell you, man, the weather was always bad. It was always raining on our laptops. We were pouring water out of them. The connectivity was bad. We didn't have good power. So, but we struggled, and we got signals out, and people watched us. Then we kind of got smart. I think my wife said, why don't you move inside? So, hey, after about 17 years outside, we moved inside. And we're looking a lot more professional, and we're not wet, we're not dirty, and we're not hot, Look at that. And here we are this year. If any of you guys made it up to the Dayton Ham Convention this year, you're going to see that our booth looks much better inside there. And we'll be webcasting again from there this coming year. And if you guys get up there, come by and see us. We're in Building 2 there. We live stream from the vehicle as we drive. The Dayton Ham Convention, for example, is a 10-hour drive. It's over 500 miles for us, and we stream the entire trip live. We lost somebody. Let's see who we lost here.
We lost us.
Oh, okay. You guys are back.
Club.
You guys are back.
Yeah, they're back.
So we stream live while we're actually driving here. Here's a picture of me in the back seat here working the stream, and we have cameras mounted out front. We have rear view mirror cameras. We have internal in-cab cameras. And we stream from the truck as we drive. Now, one of the funny stories here is a few years ago, coming back from Dayton, we got stopped doing 89 miles an hour in a 70, and that was not looking good for us as we were streaming, and we thought actually they were going to take us to jail. So everybody in the chat room that was following us, they were all starting to take up a collection to bail us out of jail. It worked out pretty good. It's a lot more of that story I'll tell it to you later if I ever see you in person. But we did get out of that ticket. But that was an interesting stream that we did. People around the world got to see U.S. Highway Patrol. So how do we get connectivity? Connectivity has been getting better and better and easier to get. We've used 4G before, 3G. But 4G doesn't always work. That is the Dayton Hamvention there, and you can see with 20 or 30,000 people there, here's our problem. There's one cell tower near there, and you got 20,000 people there, all have smartphones, and they're all trying to ping that tower, and it makes using data almost impossible. So what we've had to do to revert to is that we sometimes put in our own satellite uplink. This is a dedicated satellite uplink for our internet. So we've done that before in locations. We've also had circuits put in. One time in Dayton, we had a circuit put in. The circuit cost us $700 for I think 3 days. But things are getting much better now. We've got a really large, dedicated group of followers out there. Some of these people, when they tune into some of our hamfest shows, they don't even leave the house or leave the TV for like 2 and 3 days. To give you a view of the number of people that tune in to our webcast, these are some statistics from one of our Dayton Hamvention trips. We had over 50,000 unique viewers in over 150 countries, all on one show. Now this is over a period of 5 days, our drive up, our drive back, and then our setup day and then the show. But we had about 50,000 people during that part of that webcast. Here we are, big screen. I know we're on a big screen there at Morristown, and we like getting pictures from people. I don't know if this came from, I'm not sure who sent this picture in, but this is a big screen. Somebody's watching us drive home there. Here you can see the rear view camera in the top of the screen, and that's real handy because people can actually tell us when the police are sneaking up behind us. Also, the neat thing about having the chat room running and people watching, we also have APRS running, and I can sometimes Kathy drives, other people drive, and sometimes they get a little foot heavy on the speed. So I can ask for a price check on aisle 13, price check aisle 13, and that's the secret code for somebody in the chat room to send me back in the chat room how fast the driver's driving. So that comes in handy sometimes. Ham radio has been really good to us, and it's an interesting hobby. We meet all kinds of people. This is one we're very proud of. We met astronaut Doug Wheelock a number of years ago. We talked to him 30 times while he was up in the International Space Station, and here we are giving him a certificate of Worked All Memphis. We had a lot of people in Memphis that worked him, so I arranged for him to come see us, and we made up a certificate called Worked All Memphis. And here's the Memphis group. These are satellite and ISS radio operators, and this is our Memphis group with astronaut Wheelock. Now, quick story about astronaut Wheelock is all the satellite guys in Memphis, we were in a contest with Kansas City. Who has the best barbecue, Kansas City or Memphis? So we thought that if we are able to get someone from higher up tell us what the best barbecue is, we win the contest. So I called Doug on, I think, his last day up at the space station, and he confirmed for us that Corky's Barbecue was the best barbecue here, and it's in Memphis. So we won the bet there, and we've got a video of that conversation on our page if you ever want to check out and see it. There's Doug. Doug now has been with us for 5 years. He's come to be with us on our show, both at Dayton and also our weekly show. And he talks with people, and he's a really nice guy to talk to, a lot of interesting stories. But that's one thing that ham radio has really brought us into something that we're really proud of. Another thing that our show has done is meet people like John Amadeo, the producer of ABC hit TV station Last Man Standing. There's John. They brought us out to Hollywood a couple years ago and built us a set right there on the stage. So that was our amateur radio roundtable set. There, if you watch the show, Outdoors Man is the name of the company there. That looks exactly like the Outdoors Man, office, and that's what they set up for us right there. Got to meet Tim after one of the rehearsals, and we were able to break the news on our show that Tim got his license. He didn't want to announce to anybody he got his license, but I convinced him that he probably should do it. Katie, I think you've been out there, haven't you? You met Tim, haven't you?
Yes, we went out there a couple of years ago. Actually, I think it's 3 years ago now, and went out for a taping of the show, and we also got to meet Tim and some of the cast members. It was a lot of fun and really neat experience for sure, and got to operate from the station on the set like they're doing nowadays, and so that was a lot of fun. Definitely one of those I would once in a lifetime type of opportunities that you don't expect to have, and it's fun to watch the show every week. And when Tim does his vlog, you can always see the ham station behind him, and usually I can see my QSL card up there, and that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, and I've noticed my QSL card has been up there too. I did ask John to move the microphone one time because the mic was blocking my card on the show.
Right.
This is like you say, it's a once in a lifetime deal, and this is something neat that ham radio can bring to people out there. Here's a picture of Mandy. Mandy is not in the series, the new series that's just started, but if you guys remember Mandy there, she also operated the ham radio on the show, and there she is holding up a QSL card there. There's the volunteer examiner team I'm talking to there that actually gave the test to Tim. Again, a shot of from kind of behind the scenes there of us doing some interviews. And sometimes you wonder why we lose our train of thought while we do a show. Sometimes we're trying to be very serious, and what happens is we have people behind the camera like this making all kinds of faces. and I think during this particular scene right here, they actually flew a drone up to us inside the studio. So, they're always trying to get to us. A lot of famous people, of course, that you might know. There's Bob Heil from Ham Nation, and Bob's been a great supporter of our show, probably one of the very first supporters of our show, and we use his professional microphones on the show. Bharathi, a very well-known ham YL from India, has done a lot for ham radio for India. There's another picture of John Amadeo in our virtual presence device right there. That's one of the shows we actually brought him into our show through our virtual presence device there. In addition to our regular weekly show and our hamfest that we go to, we occasionally do other shows, and this particular show here was a D-Star show. We did one Saturday. We brought in all the experts from the D-Star experts here, and I think we put on a 6-hour marathon show that day and answered questions and talked about D-Star. Hey, you never know what you're going to see on Twitter. If any of you guys follow Twitter, there was a W5KUB spotting right there, and I found that on Twitter by accident, but somebody had gotten behind us somewhere, probably in Kentucky there. Our show was, we feel very good about this. The show was picked as a special achievement award at the Dayton Ham Convention a couple years ago because of what we do for ham radio. I mentioned about $10,000 in prizes earlier that we give away to people. Hey, here's just a sample of some of the prizes: weather stations, books. Look at the antenna analyzers, microphones, weather stations, handy talkies, mobile rigs, and so forth. But we try to be different in our show, and we try to be unique, and we try to do things that others aren't doing. For instance, after the Nepal earthquake here a couple years ago, we actually had boots on the ground on our show on Tuesday night from Nepal, and giving us a report on the earthquake. Hurt Island D Expedition. Some of you guys may have worked the Hurt Island D Expedition. We planned it 1 year in advance to have connectivity from the Antarctica region down there. And we actually brought them in through satellite phone into our show 3 Tuesday nights in a row. We brought our astronaut friend Doug Wheelock in from Russia while he's working over in Russia. And we do a lot of special live events like field day and tours and visits of places like MFJ and things like that. And of course we webcast all of our road trips. There's kind of what it looks like. If you go to w5kub.com, you'll see the video there. You'll also see the chat room right there, and you can join us and watch the show. So hey, please join w5kub.com. Remember that each of you should get a card there. We're passing some cards out on the back. I think it's going to have dates and times for the show, but it's every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central for our live show. Tune in, and Katie and I will be there. You can contact us on Twitter or email if you need to. And that's about it for the presentation. Got that out of the way, and now we are ready for the good part. We're going to just open this thing up and start talking about ham radio.
I have a little bit of a rag too. I always think when you talked about our live shows, we did one from Scotland. My family and I were over on vacation in the UK, and we visited the Stirling Amateur Radio Club, and we did some live streaming from there. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we brought you in from there.
Even had a blooper show on it.
We made some bloopers of that because, let me see if I can get you in a little better, Katie. This might help a little. That may help a little for you guys. I don't know.
Oh, yikes. Okay.
But we had a lot of bloopers that day. And let me tell you, it was, we'd do 3 or 4 minutes. I'd say stop, and we would just start back over. So, oh man, thanks Katie for putting up with that. I know it was your vacation.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If you can't laugh at yourself, then why bother? You got to be able to have a good sense of humor about this, and that's what the same thing about ham radio. Ham radio is supposed to be fun. If you're not having fun, then you got to find another aspect of it to try out, because there's so many different things you could do with it. And here in the shack, we're getting ready for the Riddy Roundup this weekend. We like to play in that contest, and got a few plaques for it around the shack here too. And so one of the things I like about that, especially when I'm sick like right now with a cold, I don't have to talk during that contest, so I could just click away. But we've just gotten up and running with a satellite station here in our shack, and that's something brand new for us. And so there's always something new to do. And I've been with Tom on this show for coming up on 3 years now, and I have to say it's a lot of fun. Tom just gives so much to the ham radio community, all just because he loves the hobby, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to join his show, because he just gives so much of himself, and it's a pleasure to be a part of, and we have a lot of fun with each other, a lot of teasing back and forth, and he's brought in a lot of really great people that are part of the show who've now become friends. We all get to see each other on a weekly basis. And then when we see each other in person at some of the big ham fests like Hamvention or Orlando Hamcation, it's like we haven't been apart. It's a really special connection that ham radio brings. And it's one of the things that I love most about this hobby. I've been a ham since 2006, and my best friends are hams. I met my husband because of ham radio. My mom, who's 82, is a ham. She got her extra license when she was 79. Wow. And so you're never too old to upgrade, I say. And so now I have a brand new granddaughter who's just about 6 weeks old. So we figure we might give her a couple years, but we're going to turn her into a ham too.
Wow, man. Well, Katie, and I've had my license now for 54 years. And I've been pretty
gracious.
Pretty active. That's before you were born, right? A long time.
It was, yeah. I just turned 49 last week.
So yeah. That was back in the olden days, and I love talking about the olden days, particularly with someone like Martin Jew, and we talk about how it was back then. But
looks like we had a question out in the audience.
Yeah. Do we have a question here?
I saw somebody raise your hand out there.
Let's see. Let me see if I can figure out how to put us back
there
on here.
Oh, thank you.
What was that, a birthday?
Yeah, they're all just yelling happy birthday at
Oh,
me.
okay, okay. Hey, let's see. Hey, I've got a birthday coming up next month, so you guys
Next
can
month, all right,
save it
we'll
if
have to remember that and sing to you.
save it. Yeah, save it if you want to. But what I was going to say is that I love the show. I put a lot of time in planning the show and trying to find guests and so forth. But I could take it or leave it whether I'm on a show or not. That's why I love having Katie on here. Everybody tunes in for Katie. They don't tune in to watch me. And most of the time I'm working all the buttons and stuff here. There's a lot of video switching and audio and just various things going on. And it's a lot of work here. I really need someone kind of dedicated to do that behind the scenes. But
He's always trying to have somebody take over at when we're at a convention because he wants to sneak off and go get a hamburger.
yeah,
So this year at Hamvention, Glenn Popeil, I'm just having a brain fart. Sorry, Glenn. KW5GP, the author. He and I were just chit-chatting so Tom could sneak off. He wanted to sneak off, and we kind of barricaded the booth and wouldn't let him escape, but it's a lot of fun. Oh, I just saw we had a question in the chat room from Bill WZ1L. He wants to know from each of us what interested us in obtaining our ham license.
all right. Well, you want to go first?
I guess I can. Well, I don't know if you guys know my background, but I actually got into ham radio because it was my job. I got a job at the ARRL as the membership manager back in 2006. And I was not a ham at the time. It was a job requirement to get your license. And so I got my license and I started the job in March. I got my license in April, and then Field Day came along. And so I was the GOTA station at W1AW for Field Day in 2006 with my GOTA coach, Dan Henderson, N1ND. And I just had a blast with it. I just thought it was so much fun sitting there making these contacts and talking to people all around the country. And because I was a GOTA station and W1AW, which at the time I honestly didn't really have a full appreciation for how special it was to work at W1AW because it was all brand new to me. But it was a really good time, and I had fun kind of starting to have that little bit of competitive aspect. And so the following month was I think it's the IARUHF contest. And Dan, once again, invited me back to W1AW, and I played in the International HF contest. And he woke me, it was like 5 a.m., and got up and got on the radio and started calling CQ. And I just had a pileup of Europeans. And it was such a rush. First of all, I was, learning to listen and pulling these call signs out. And I think I worked like 100 contacts in that hour, just being brand spanking new. But that really got my juices flowing. And that's when it really turned from just a job where I had my license to a new hobby and passion. And I just really, and from there, it's just continued. I got my general license a couple of years after that in a class at headquarters. There was about 6 of us that upgraded at the time. And then after I moved out here to Wyoming is when I got my extra class, because I was tired of my husband hollering upstairs to me, hey, I just worked a new one. Why don't you? Oh, never mind, he's out of your band. And so I heard enough of that. So I managed to get my license upgraded, and I've been chasing all over the world ever since. So that's kind of my history in a nutshell, how I got into ham radio.
Well,
Tom, it's your turn.
That's great. And in a minute, I want to talk about YLs because, there are more men than there are women in the hobby, but it's starting to pick up. And we'll talk a little about YLs in a few minutes. But, hey, I started back at, I don't know, age 14, 15, listening to shortwave. And, boy, I had one of these big Zenith. Some of the old-timers there might remember these big radios. They're about 4.5 feet tall and 3 feet wide, big dial on it, big Zenith. And it was a world band radio. You could tune and listen to shortwave stations everywhere. So I started listening to people like Radio Moscow and Havana, Cuba, and Quito, Ecuador, and places like that. And it got me interested. And then I found the ham band on there, and I would tune the ham band, and I would listen to these hams start talking. I thought, this is really for me. I grew up. My uncle had a TV repair service in the county. He pretty much did the entire county, and so he had hundreds and hundreds of junk TVs and any parts I needed for years and years. I just go up there and cut the parts out, whether it be tube sockets or tubes or transformers or resistors, capacitors. I never had to buy a part. So I did a lot of building when I was real young there. Got my novice license back then in 1964. You can actually hold your novice license and your tech license at the same time. I was WN5 KUB. On the novice bands, I was WA5 KUB on 6-meter AM voice. and that was pretty cool. Back then, you could only hold a novice for 1 year. If you didn't upgrade, you lost your license. So, of course, I upgraded, and I eventually was upgraded to extra class license, and just had a great time with it. Technology has really moved a lot. Things are so much different than they were back last century when I became a ham. Any questions from the room there, Katie? I don't want to.
Feel free to holler at us if you have any questions.
Yeah, and
no, they're just waiting around for the prize.
Let's see. Anybody? let me look at the room. See what we got going in the room here. Oh, we got a question. I see a hand coming up right there.
Just an inquiry. Have you ever had Dan Henderson on your show?
I don't think we have.
Well, I didn't quite hear all the question.
He asked if we had ever had Dan Henderson on the show, N1ND. I should get him on here. It's a good idea. I'll talk to him when he gets back from vacation.
What's his call?
November 1, November Delta. And Dan's the regulatory manager and super secretary. It does all kind. He has some new roles at the ARRL, but he works at headquarters, and he's one of my Elmers. He and KX9X were my Elmers, big Elmers at headquarters when I was learning to be a ham.
Well, let's get Dan on the show.
Yeah, sounds good. And we've had Sean on. We talked about satellites with him.
Yeah.
But thank you for that suggestion. That's great. We got some questions in the back.
By the door.
Hey, Tom, Mike, NX2U. Nice to see you guys again.
Hey, Mike. How you doing, Mike?
Now you finally get to see what I look like, Tom, with all the QSOs. Question for you. How about getting Asher Farhan back on again with all the stuff he's done with the microBitX? And the last time I contacted him, he's doing something on VHF. Can you try and get him back on for a show?
I will. I have been thinking about contacting Ashar the past few weeks. I'm sure that he would love to get back on here with us. He's got some great radios, and if you guys aren't familiar, most of you guys probably are familiar because I'm sure Mike and others have shown you the MicroBix and the Bix 40, the little HF transceiver for about $100, all band. And Ashar is a great inventor and engineer, and cool to hear he's working on something with VHF maybe. But we'll get him on.
He also, but didn't he also? Wasn't he part of the satellites that just went up in India as well? I saw some.
I don't know.
I think so. On Facebook, I saw something, and he's won some awards as well. He's really talk about brilliant. My goodness.
Oh yeah, and what we'll do, I'll contact Ashar and get him on the program here soon. Of course, when we do a live show with him, he has to get up even earlier, Katie, than you. He has to get up about he gets up about 5:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning to be on a show from India, but he won't mind doing it at all. All right, anybody else in the room there? Let's see, anybody? Let's see. Hey, how about the guy in the front row with the red hat on? There you go. He just raised his hand. That's how we do it in the military. That's how we do it in the military. You got any questions there, red hat?
With the red hat on. I got another one.
Sure.
What question do you get asked the most?
Let's see. What question do we get asked the most?
Yeah.
Probably what bands do you like to operate on the most? I mean, that was one of them, but then the other one is, why did you get into ham radio? Especially for me being a YL, I get that a lot. Or honestly, I get, are you a ham? Because, even though I may be at a hamfest wearing a name badge with my call sign, I'll still get that question and that look like, are you really a ham or not? And so I feel like sometimes I have to, prove my mettle and tell about all my different, have to wave the banner. And that's one thing, like with YL, sometimes we find we have to show off a little bit more of what we're doing and prove that we're actually, active ham radios, not just a spouse. That we, I have my DXC. I got my DXCC when I was a general. I've got my worked all states. I'm an A1 operator, donor to the ARRL. We're in the Maxim Society now because we believe strongly in the league. I work in the industry, as you may or may not know. I do social media for Ham Radio Outlet. And previous to that, I did tech support for Ham Radio Deluxe. And I love ham radio. and it's really, it totally encompasses my life except for some of my other hobbies that I do have, like running and crocheting and crafting and things. But yeah, that's I think probably when I'm out and about, that's one of them, and then another one, I get marriage proposals periodically. So
Wow.
I can relate to that.
yeah.
Wow. Hey, let me see. Let me ask Hyde or Dale. I'm expecting a text from you guys any minute. I'm sure we'll probably shut this forum down here maybe in the next 10 or 15 minutes. We're not going to keep you guys from going to lunch there. Let's see. What time is it now?
I have a quick question though. I see out in the crowd. Is there only the one YL in the room?
Is there,
Three.
Oh, okay, good.
Raise your hand.
we got
Are
three
you guys
YLs?
members of YLRL?
Let's
That's
see.
what we're looking for. It's a
All
great
right.
organization to be part of if you're a YL, and support and friendship, and also you guys, in case we didn't mention it, we're I don't know how much you spend time on Facebook, but we have a Facebook group, the w5kub.com Facebook group, and we've got upwards of 7,000 people on there now, I think. But there's regular conversation that occurs on there in terms of people looking to make contacts with each other. They're sharing their shack projects. About once a month or so, we do a Show Your Shack segment on the show, and so people will post their photos and send in a description of what they got, and I'll do a Show Your Shack segment on the show. And so it's a lot of fun and a great way to participate. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of people that are in the chat room that are now on Facebook, and we all become friends. And like one of the gals that helps with the show at Huntsville, Teresa, she and I have become friends on Facebook. We found that, one of our other hobbies of crocheting we have in common. So a lot of times our friendship has branched out from ham radio to our yarn projects, and we're always sending each other notes about different projects and things. And again, when we go to shows, we get to see each other and become friends. So the Facebook group has really become a great springboard, in addition to the chat room on Tuesday nights, to really be able to converse and make friends with each other. And so it's really nice, especially when we do get to a live event, to put a face to a name. It's one thing to see the face, on TV or on Facebook or Twitter, but to actually have some one-on-one time and shake somebody's hand and say hello is really, really, really nice, and it's a lot of fun. So if you guys are on Facebook and like to hang out, then please do join the group and say hello. And again, on Tuesday nights when we have our show, see, there's a bit of our chat room. We have different kind of conversations. Sometimes there's totally different conversations that have nothing to do with the show that come up, or depending on our guest, we'll also have people will ask questions through the chat room that we can ask to our guest on the show, and that works out really nicely too. As Tom mentioned, with some of the people that we bring on, like Emmett Hohense, W0 Queen Hotel, who's the chief engineer for Radio Waves Antennas, he'll get on and talk all about antennas, and people can ask questions, so he's able to answer questions. Joe Eisenberg, K0NEB, is the kit man. You guys all know him if you see pictures from Hamvention. He's the one that wears a cat in the hat around Hamvention, but he's an author with CQ Magazine and does kit building seminars around the country. It's a lot of fun to have on the show. Glenn Popiel, who is our Arduino guy and writes books about it. And again, Riley Hollinsworth, he's a lot of fun. Riley's actually become a good friend of ours, and he answers questions that a lot of people have that are FCC related or just regulatory issues. And he has a really great insight, having been retired from the FCC, but he can kind of tell you, I know a lot of us get frustrated when we have, a spammer and calling them a spammer because it's basically what they are when they get on and QRM the heck out of a band or just have terrible behavior. It always seems like the FCC isn't doing anything about it. But if you ever have an opportunity to hear him talk, it's interesting to hear all the different steps that actually do go into getting these guys, and you will periodically see that they do get them with some really big fines. So we try to have a variety of people on talking about different things that are helpful to us as hams out here. And again, like we just did, we're always open to ideas for people to be guests on the show. And Tom puts a lot of work into it. I tend to just be the one that shows up and talks her mouth off as she's doing right now. And but it's a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you guys being here this morning and hanging out with us. It's a lot of fun, and this is our first Hamfest, so you guys are special to us because we'll always remember Morristown Hamfest as our very first live show. on doing a ham fest. But so you ready to do a prize yet?
Yeah, we're about ready. Hey, Katie, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
What is the longest contact you've ever made?
Oh my goodness. Like distance wise?
Yep, around the world.
Well, one of the coolest ones was the expedition down in Antarctica. We got on 160 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which shouldn't have happened, but it did. I have actually had a voice contact with the Antarctic station down there. Some of those really far off de-expeditions I've gotten, I can't think of all of them at the top of my head, but we're very blessed with a good station here. My husband's been a ham for over 25 years, so we had time to collect stuff, as you can see behind me. And even though we have a small lot here in Wyoming, there's no rules out here. So we have a 100-foot tower and a 50-foot tower with all kinds of wires and beams out there. So we are, I'm lucky enough that being Wyoming fairly rare, I can, usually talk all over the world and have done so. I haven't done let me try that again. Moon Earth bounce yet. My husband has, but I don't know. I'd have to look at my log to find the actual longest one, but I've made some pretty exciting contacts, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Do you see that? Wait a minute. Can you see it? There's my amp. So no QRP for this girl. I like my amps, and I cannot lie.
Well, guys, we.
We had one more question in the front row.
Oh, you got another question here?
All right, since Tom wanted me to come up with a question, Katie, how do you get your YL to get on the radio? If she's licensed, her call sign is K4NIT. Or do you know any knit patterns for radio antennas?
So you have a YL that you want to get on the radio? Is that what you said?
And she's got her license.
Okay. So why did she get her license? Did she get it to do it for you?
Because
Okay.
I'm going to events and stuff like that. So
Right. So what I usually recommend, because I've been asked that question a lot from, probably since I've been working in the ham radio industry. My first suggestion is share what it is that you love about ham radio and bring her into the shack. If you like making just Reg 2 QSOs or you like playing on Morse code, if she's mic shy, find out what it is that's maybe keeping her from getting on the radio. Because she may have done it for you initially, but what you may find is that if you can do it as a hobby together, then it might be a little bit more fun. I mean, again, it's a hobby, so you want it to be fun. For example, like the 3905 net, they do, that's a great way to do something as a couple. When my husband and I were first married, we hung out in there quite a bit because we could operate together. And so we would operate as a couple. And so that's usually my biggest suggestion is find what it is that you love the most that you want to share with her and that you can do together. So something like maybe a net or a contest or a field day even. And maybe if she's mic shy, try a digital mode. Try like RIDI. We find like RIDI is a great way to get people introduced into it, and they don't have to talk yet, but they get a little more familiar with working the radio, working the software, and playing around, but don't have to use their voice yet. But you got to find out if she did only get it just to be with you at these events. That's a good first start because she did that. So the next thing is find out what part of it she might be interested in. It also could be sometimes that YLs that may not be necessarily interested in getting too active on the radio, they might be more interested in just helping out with a club. So they're still part of it, they're working with you, but maybe they're going to be active in your club and running a ham fest. I know quite a few YLs like that they have their call sign and they might get on once a year for field day and help out, but they really just like the more personal aspect of it in terms of hanging out. And there are other people, and you may find that sometimes, you give them exposure to something new that you may just find that you're going to have to start sharing the shack more often. So, which is always a good thing.
Do a his and her shack.
Yeah, I'm on my side of the shack. I've got a 756 Pro 3 on my side, and Dwayne behind me's got the 7600, and then over on the third operating station, that's our satellite station. We've got another ICOM and a little Yaesu radio over there. I can't think of the name of it right now, but if there's something you can share and share your passion for it, And if she truly does want to hang out with you in the shack, then you'll find something. I hope that helped. I saw a few heads nodding out there.
Yeah.
Katie, one more question for you.
Yeah, hi, go ahead.
You spoke, this is Dale, you spoke of the Ready contest coming up
Yeah,
this weekend, right?
yes.
What's your feelings about them including the FT8 mode?
In the Ready Roundup, I honestly don't have any thoughts on that. I haven't really paid too much attention to it. I've played some FT8. I mean, it's all digital. My husband's done much more of the FT8, but what I've seen is that it's getting people on the radio and they're making contacts, and that's what it's all about. I have friends that can operate, they could do remote, or you can use very little power. I mean, I think it's really cool that you can use such a low amount of, these signals are coming through on such a low noise level, and you're still able to work all over the world. So to me, I don't mind it. I'm one of those people that, like, the more reasons that people have to get on the radio and operate, the better. The more we use our bands, the better. So however you do it, as long as you're doing it legally and properly, then I don't care. But I'm pretty easy going about stuff like that.
So hey, Katie, look, let me show you something in the chat room. We've got a viewer watching, JY5. Is it IR from Jordan? Jordan.
Oh wow!
Amon.
Very nice.
So look at the DX we're bringing in, guys. Your Morristown Hamfest is being watched in Jordan today.
Very cool.
Awesome.
So I think we should probably go ahead and get Hambot cranked up and get that out of the way.
Question while you're doing that, Tom, for Katie. I need a contact from Wyoming on 80 meters to get my worked off states. Can we set up a time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
We'll
we
be
can
on the
arrange it.
radio this weekend here in the shack too, so that's not a problem. Shoot me a note. My email's on Curazette, or it's just kdwy7yl@gmail.
You know anybody in Montana?
NE4RD is here. Well, I don't know if he's on here too, but there's a few people up in Montana.
I need 2 states to get my worked off states, so I'll be in touch.
All right, sounds good. We'll be here.
All right, so hey, let me explain real quick, guys. We've got you in the intro earlier. You probably saw different pictures of various people on the show, and there was a short clip in here about Hambot. Hambot is a program that was developed in-house that does a lot of work. It does the work of about 3 people when we go in these Hamfests to give out prizes. He monitors a chat room. He picks random names. Based on whether we say it's for U.S. or international, he can determine that. He calls your name out for a prize. He counts down a timer. He looks to see if you answer in time. Now, we're not going to do Hambot exactly like that on the show today because we already have a winner for the watt meter. We're going to announce that winner for watt meter. Katie, don't announce it yet, but have you got it there? Have you got a text?
I'm looking here. Let me put my eyeballs on so I can read my phone.
Got it there. Because I got it.
I got it.
You got it. Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. So here we're going to run a Hambot, and then Katie, I'll let you announce the winner there. And
all right.
So everybody, just stand by a second. Let me see if I can get Hambot cranked up here. All right, so Hambot is doing his official thing. Hambot has said, let's give out a prize. So, Katie, do you want to announce who the lucky
I would be
winner is?
happy to.
Wait, first of all.
All right.
Wait,
you guys have your tickets ready?
Wait, yeah, let me do this. I need to show everybody what the prize is.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Yeah, let's show everybody what the prize is. There we go, right there. It's going to be an MFJ 882 SWR watt meter. So that's the prize we're giving away today. Okay, so Katie, we're ready to announce it. You want to make the announcement there?
Okay, our winner today is Ta-da. Chris, November 4, Charlie Sugar Golf.
Charlie Sugar Golf. Is he
All
there?
right,
Where is he?
yay!
Wait a minute.
Congratulations.
He's on the back row. He's almost on the back row. That's against my
I know.
odds,
How about
man.
that? So much for the front row winners getting it.
Oh man. Okay. Well, hey, Chris. Hey, we're gonna. That'll be shipped out from MFJ probably Monday morning to you. Hopefully your address is good in QRZ. If it's not, you better let us know. All right. I didn't hear Chris. I guess his address is okay. If not, he can contact us. Well, guys,
Good.
Okay, great.
I
Yours,
know-
that is good.
I know it's lunchtime there, and us hams, we really like to eat. So we don't want to stay here keep you guys any longer. So we're gonna go ahead and conclude the program right now. We'll probably keep the feed up here for a few minutes. I mean, if anybody wants to walk up to the camera or anything and just chat with us, come on up. We'll be glad to talk to you. We'll stick around here for another 15 or 20 minutes probably. But thanks a lot for coming, and we'll see you guys soon somewhere. Come see us at let's see, the next hamfest will be in Orlando, and then Dayton, Ohio. If you get up to Dayton, come by and see us. And we're down at Huntsville. Come see us in Huntsville. Hey, join our 40-meter net. We got a 40-meter net every Tuesday before the show. It's at 5:30 Central Time on 40 meters. Join our Facebook group, W5KUB Facebook group, so you can keep up with the show and everything Katie's doing and all the other people are doing. Please join us. Save it for everybody. Go get something to eat, and we'll see you later.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Tom. Everybody would stay with me just a few minutes. I had someone ask me a question, so stay with me just for a minute, and we'll let you go. What's going on with my business prior.
Oh, they're not allowed to leave the room, it looks like.
They're not. Yeah.
We got detention here. We're in detention.
Oh,
look,
Carol, I thought you
everyone-
looked like a rowdy crowd.
They're all obeying. These are ham radio operators, and they're obeying. Hi there.
I know, they're following instructions. What's up with that?
Yeah.
He's the president of the club.
Okay, we're gonna have to chat it now.
You gotta do what the president says.
All right.
Is there a question?
So what's going on in there?
We're, I don't know, Hyde told me to hold everybody just for a minute, so I don't know what, he's got something going on, I think. I don't know I don't know what it is.
The paddy wagon pulling up.
He must be passing out the cookies and is withholding them from the room.
White jackets are coming. Yeah.
Well, this will be
Oh, Arnie's
interesting.
going to Hamcation. Hey, anybody down there going to Hamcation in Florida in February? Oh, good. Make sure you stop by and say hi. Yeah, I'm looking for. Hamcation is always a ham fest that I look forward to going to because it means going to Florida in the beginning of February from Wyoming.
It's always good, right?
Still on.
Well, we're gonna be down
Yeah.
here, but we're not gonna set up a booth. That's a long ways to go and a lot of equipment.
Right, yeah,
to
that's a
take,
lot
but
for you guys. You're just going to go walk around and have
I
fun.
imagine we'll
Did I hear
probably-
somebody hollering my name out there?
Yeah, we'll hear some.
Nancy Yoshida.
You know
One more
that?
time?
You know Nancy Yoshida.
Oh, yeah, I know Ned.
She's a good YL to introduce other YLs to.
Yep. Yeah, I've gotten to know quite a few over the past few years since I joined the YLRL. And we have a YL group on Facebook also where we regularly chat with each other. And then there's an Echolink net on Thursday nights with the YLs. And although half the time I forget about it because it's right at dinner time, so I'm terrible about that. But it's been a great way to get to know more women in the hobby and support each other. It's a lot of fun. Nisi, K-A-1-U-L-N from Massachusetts, she has a really great blog. I believe it's just her call sign, K-A-1-U-L-N.blogspot.com. And she's always putting information out about different activities for YLs, what's going on. And I know at Hamcation down in Florida, the YLRL will have a booth in the same building where the prize wheel is. So that's always a great place to stop in. And of course, I always have a spot at Dayton Hamvention as well. I usually try to escape my booth. Since I'm there working, I'm there working, so I don't necessarily get to run around as much as I would like to. But I still try to get out and at least see some regular places. So you could see my husband just snuck in the shack. He's getting ready for the Riddy Roundup. So
Well, I'll tell you, Katie, it better be something good that Hyde went to get, because we're cutting into lunch hour now.
I know. It's 10 o'clock here. I'm ready to brew up another pot of coffee.
I mean,
It's okay, it's gonna be worth it.
I'm actually here now.
Oh, all right. What's going
all
on?
right.
Question for you, okay?
Question
This
for-
might not be a ham radio question either. If a fly lands on the ceiling, does he do a barrel roll or does he just roll right in?
If a fly lands on a ceiling, does it do a barrel roll or what?
Roll in. Wing over. Wing over.
Wing over?
Yeah.
That's a question for Tom. He's the
Yeah,
Air Force.
you know,
Yep. That's right, Tom.
well, is
How
that
does
fly? Is that fly? Let me first ask the question: is that fly in the? Is he north of the equator, or is it south of the equator? That's going to make a difference. I didn't hear. Was the fly north or south of the equator?
North of the equator.
North of the equator.
Hey, Katie.
Yeah?
It's Hyde.
Hi, Hyde.
I'll have to
Did you
research it.
anyone mention anything about James Lee and his girls, Faith Hannah and all of them, how good they've been doing on the Yoda stuff?
Yeah. Just in terms of what the family's been doing?
Yeah.
They've been, if you guys are familiar with the Lee family, they have a website called hamradio.world, and they're a whole ham family. James WX4 TV, and Faith Hannah's the oldest girl, AE4FH, and Grace and Hope, who's having a little brain thing here, but they do a lot of activities, and they just recently did a little mini de-expedition down to the Dry Tortugas, and they do a lot of instructional videos. The girls have been chosen over the past couple of years to be part of Carol Perry's Young Ham program at Hamvention. Zechariah is more on the, who's their son, who is very much into airplanes and crazy, brilliant, smart kid. But the girls really do a lot of fun videos and instructional videos and showing families how they can do ham radio together. So it's not just for, mom and dad, but, getting the girls involved, and they're all over the internet doing all kinds of neat things. And so if you check out hamradio.world, they've got, and on YouTube as well, they've got tons of videos. So if you have any grandkids that you're thinking about trying to get involved in ham radio, or kids, I would definitely check them out, because they've got a lot of helpful information, and they're a great resource. And they've also got Ham Radio for Kids is a page on Facebook. And it's kids of all ages, but mostly geared towards families getting ham radio involvement together. The Harris herd, Jennifer and Mark Harris, also have their kids, and they became kind of ham radio famous during the National Parks on the Air event. They used to take the kids out to all the different national parks and activate it, and they been very active with ham radio, also showing what families can do together and be active in ham radio. And they've kind of given themselves the hashtag Harris Herd, and really a fun family, and do a lot of neat things together. So there's some really great examples of people that are active in ham radio with their families and getting out there and sharing it with everybody.
So, hey, Tom, Katie, if I could like take about five minutes of your guys' time, I'm going to do a little presentation for our club real quick, if that's okay.
Sure.
Sure, go ahead.
As most of you guys know that's in the club, about 3 or 4 years ago, we started an award for Ed Bradley, and it was called the W4BGI Award at the time. Well, it went over so good, we started doing it yearly, and then we have named it the W4BGI Award of Excellence. How many of you outside the club members that actually know Ed Bradley, W4BGI? He's probably the greatest ham radio ambassador for this area. He does more than 10 normal people does on a good day. So at every year at our hamfest, we decided to give away the W4BGI award winner. And this year we're going to do the same. And so at this time, Mr. President, The person that was chosen this year for the W4 BGI Award is Mr. John Ellenberg.
Oh, no.
John,
All right.
What's John's call sign?
John's call sign is Alpha India 4 Zebra Kilo. No, Quebec.
Oh.
Quebec. AI4ZQ.
AI4ZQ, congratulations.
Thank you. I don't deserve it. I truly don't.
It's you on camera here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Congratulations there. That's the W4 BGI Award of Excellence.
Over here?
Yep.
Yep. Don't get too friendly there.
There's John.
All right, good job, John. Congratulations.
I don't know what I did. There you go. John,
That's super.
Hold it up a little higher, John. Hold it a little higher.
Yeah, hold it a little higher.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Katie.
Tom, Katie, thanks for letting me do that.
All
Oh,
right.
you're welcome.
And hey,
Thanks
hey,
for
guys,
sharing that with
I'd just
everyone.
like
Very
to-
cool.
I'd just like to say that
No, I
this
did.
show has been recorded.
I do appreciate it.
The show today has been recorded, and you can watch it anytime you want to in the future. All of our shows are recorded. We have about 650 shows recorded, so there should be something there. If you're interested in anything about ham radio, you should be able to find it. Guys, they're getting hungry.
Yeah, anytime you guys are ready.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Katie.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
See you in Florida.
Be in Florida.
All right, very good. All right, well, Katie, thank you so much for being with us today, Katie.
You're welcome, Tom. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me participate.
Yeah, I think next time, I think what caused our issue here on the distant end, we had 3 Skype connections. If it had been just us here and them, they would have got a single picture.
Right.
So yeah, I gotta think through how I can solve that.
I think it worked okay, though. What do you,
Yeah,
from your
I-
side of things,
I
what would
think
you
it
say?
did.
Hi. You
Yeah, I
thought it was
think
okay?
I think it.
Yeah. People enjoy it.
Okay. Great.
Well, maybe
Thank you, guys.
maybe the TV was big enough that everything came through okay. You know.
Yeah. Ugh.
Especially Katie, thanks for getting up at the crack of dawn. Yeah.
Oh, that's not a problem. Like I said, I'm normally up anyway, but I'm gonna go take some cold medicine now and make a new pot of coffee.
All right.
We'll see you guys on Tuesday.
All right. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
See you
You're
later, guys.
welcome.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye, Katie.
All right. Bye bye.
All right. Okay.
Tom, I'll talk to you later.
Go take your cold medicine. We'll see you later.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Goodbye. All right. Well, that was the Morristown Hamvention. Hopefully, it went okay. A few technical issues in the beginning, but I think we worked through them. I'll say 73 to everybody. Hey, join us every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central Time on W5 KUB. We also have the 40 meter net Tuesday nights at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. It's usually about 7180. Join us there. But if you'll join our Facebook group, you'll see all the show announcements and net announcements and all those things. So join our Facebook group. It's called W5 KUB. 7,000 members right now, almost 7,000. We need just a few more to go over 7,000. So help us make that happen today, guys. 73 to everybody out in the chat room. Let's see. I'll take take some questions here from the chat room while we're on. I won't kill the show yet. I was impressed with the Amman, the Jordan station. Thanks a lot for joining the Jordan station. I didn't get a chance to look at too many different logins in the chat room, but we had quite a few people in there. Hopefully some new people. If this is your first time to tune into W5KUB.com, let us know in the chat room. Tell us in the chat room if this is your first time to join us. Yeah, it's about 11:10, 11:17. Yeah, 11:17 a.m. here in the Memphis, Tennessee area. So I think we will go ahead and terminate the show and talk to you guys later. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining with us today. Pencil in, I guess, right?
Well,
or that was the foxhole one.
That was the foxhole one. But